All right, if you are looking to generate leads, I'm going to be diving in how to do that in this video, and specifically the systems in place so you can generate leads every single week using only 1 hour of actual time that goes into it. Now, full disclaimer here, probably going to take you more than 1 hour in the beginning, but I'm going to give you all the tools that you actually need in order to get down to that 1 hour mark to generate qualified leads for your business. Now, jumping right in, there's kind of 3 to 4 different steps of the content creation process. You initially have ideation and scripting, right? Kind of like all the pre-production stuff. Then you have filming, where you're actually sitting down like I am right now in front of the camera and creating the content. And then you have your post-production, which is editing the content, prepping the YouTube thumbnail, because we're on YouTube right now, or a thumbnail for your Instagram reel, prepping the caption, the description, if you have a comment CTA, the freebie, the ManyChat automation, all of the post-production, any of the SEO that goes into the YouTube video, right? Or if you're writing a blog post, right, that goes up on the website. And then the last part is you have any repurposing or repackaging of that said content from the initial platform that you posted on. So when we start off, in order to create tons of content in 1 hour and actually like get content out the door that's going to generate leads, you need a framework. I talked about this in my last video. You can go watch it. It's the Converts framework. My wife, Kenda Laney, it's also Kenda.Laney on Instagram, but just Kenda Laney on YouTube. You can go watch her videos on content creation and the Converts framework on her YouTube channel as well. But you need a framework in which you can actually, have people that are watching your content, have that content actually be relevant. Raise your hand, in your mind, right? You're watching this video at home, if you've ever gone viral but not gotten any leads from it. We have clients do this all the time where they're not quite applying the Converts framework and they make a funny video about their dog and it goes viral because it's relatable and people like dogs and they're cute, but then they get 0 clients. In order for you to get clients, we highly recommend you follow the Converts framework. So you connect with symptoms, you overcome objections, you have your villains and differentiation, you elevate your authority, you lead with results, you target all 4 buyer types, and you speak to knowledge gaps and differentiation again. So if you're doing those things, it is going to give people the information that they need in order to make a buying decision. That being said, once you have that framework out of the way, and go watch our other videos on all of that. Or if you need help implementing directly, click the link down below. Talk with my team. It's what we help businesses just like yourself do every single day. Now, as far as the systems go for actually doing pre-production, production, post-production, repurposing. Starting off with pre-production, once you have your system, we use ClickUp currently. We've used Trello, Asana, we've used Airtable, we've used the Notes app on our phones. Okay, we've used a bunch of different things. If you're trying to do this just by yourself, like your Notes app, it can get you off the ground. It can get you running. Taylor Swift, famously, she uses the Memo app on her phone. She just does voice memos to herself when she has ideas, right? When the iron's hot, strike. If you've ever done this before, I've done a little bit of blacksmithing for kicks and giggles. And when the iron's hot, it's much more malleable. You're able to get a lot more work done. If it's not hot, you have to hit it a lot harder and it ain't going very far. So when you have ideas flowing to you, write them down. If that's in the Memos app, if that's in your Notes app, that's fine. If you have a team or are building out a team, and ideally, like if you're watching this video, hopefully you're doing somewhere between 5 and 50K a month. In that range, this is going to be like the most use for you, especially if you want to get up to those 100K months. But if you have a team, we really recommend ClickUp. Or another task management software. Notion's also really popular. ClickUp's the best if you want to be collaborative with a team. You have the most features, you have the most follow-up, the most automations, the best communication methods, all of that. It's all located within ClickUp, and they work so hard over there to make it a better platform than anything else. It's what I feel comfortable recommending right now, especially even if you're just starting out. getting your ideas from your notes app onto paper. It's really good because you can assign due dates, you can track stuff, you can see where ideas are, and you don't lose them. And I recommend having a list within there. And the really big thing here when it comes to ideation, and you might have someone on your team doing this, you might be doing this, you might have multiple people on your team doing this, but then you can track who's creating the assignments, when they're supposed to be filmed, you can add in your scripting, all of that to the video. So as far as pre-production goes, what do you need to have done, bare minimum? I really recommend you script out your videos. If not, you're just going to be winging it like me. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to be ADHD like central, right? That's not the best to actually have effective videos, especially if we're talking short form. If I'm live right now on YouTube, and then this will be posted as a YouTube video, and who knows, maybe it'll be chopped up and repurposed. If I use some of the other tools I'm going to talk about in the video, I'll repost it as short form content. And you can get away with like podcasts. It can be more free form. YouTube videos can be more free form. They can be flowing. You can have bullet points, things you want to hit on. Like right now, I have my pre-production through post-production and repurposing. I have that is what I wanted to talk about. But if you're doing short form content, what you actually say really, 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 really matters. Like your hook is 90% of how that video is actually going to perform. The rest of the video, like not having to pay off till the end, super important. And if you're not planning that out, like, for example, if this video was about the Converts framework, and I tell you what the Converts framework is in the first 30 seconds, and I just go over it, and I don't go any deeper, there is no incentivizing structure there for you to stick to the end of the video, which is important because all of these algorithms work on the simple basis of watch time. It is the most important feature that they use to train on to push videos out. So when the algorithm gets that feedback and people watch the first 10 seconds of my video or the first 30 seconds when I explain the Converts framework, and then they drop, YouTube is not going to push my video out because no one is watching it. And if no one watches it, they can't put ads. No one will watch the ads on my video, and therefore they don't make money. And Google, let me tell you what, they like to make money. Don't let them fool you. So when it comes to that, like, again, I recommend scripting out your videos. For some people, like my wife, Kenda, she does a really good job with bullet points. But it really depends on who you are and what works best for you. Scripting tends to be the best way to go viral consistently, I found, and most people end up repeating themselves and saying the same things over and over again if they don't. So I highly recommend, again, see here I'm repeating myself, I recommend scripting. But you don't have to. The other things you want to include in your video, pre-production, and this just makes everything like post-production go faster. Generally speaking, it can kind of bite you in the butt, and I'll explain why. But like you can include caption, any like hashtag or SEO research, if it's a YouTube video, thumbnail design, all of that. If you ever listen to Mr. Beast, he often starts on a YouTube video with pre-production with the thumbnail design and then making a really good video around the thumbnail. Really interesting way to think about it. Same thing, like you can take that same principle, apply it to short form content, make a really good hook, then make the rest of your video. So caption, hashtags, everything you need. It'll just speed up. Now, the thing that can bite you in the butt is if you get to production and you decide to go in a different direction in the moment. If you're like, wow, that was an amazing idea last night, you have a little bit more clarity, maybe you were drinking or something, you sober up, right? And then you're like, wow, that was the worst idea I've ever had in my entire life. Then you're going to change it. Then your caption, your hashtag research, all of that just kind of goes out the door, right? So that's like the only reason why you might want to play around with not doing that until post-production. Only reason. If you do everything, like if you plan everything out though, like 9 times out of 10, it's just going to be a better video. It's going to perform better. It's going to do more for your business, right? Especially following the Converts framework. If you get up there and you wing it every day, your videos are going to be all over the place, and they're not going to have consistent messaging, and your viewers aren't going to know what to expect, and they're not going to subscribe, they're not going to follow, they're not going to like your videos or engage, right? And you're not going to get views. By the way, if you haven't already, please, if you got any value so far from this video whatsoever, please like and subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference for me helping reach entrepreneurs just like yourself and helping you grow your business. So the number one thing here, when we're talking about pre-production, just to summarize, plan it out, assign any necessary team members, script your videos. It's going to make a huge difference. Minimum bullet points. and have anything ready that you need to for filming. Now, when it comes to actual production, and I'll just go into a little bit of what I'm set up with right now. I have a Canon R50. It used to be a really good one. They just came out with, I believe it's called the Canon V50. It's like kind of like the upgraded like content version of this camera. It's mirrorless. The one I have is technically a DSLR, I do believe. So it has like the little mirror that pops down versus like completely digital. I might be wrong now that I'm saying that and thinking about it. But either way, I have this mounted on top of my display. I pipe it in, and the wonderful thing about the R50s is this is what I use for all of my Zoom calls. I use it for all of my lives, all of my YouTube videos. And you know, the quality here, it's good. It's not great. It could be better with better lighting. It could be better with a better lens. But as you know, far as content goes, it is pretty solid across the board. The camera itself doesn't overheat, so I do recommend it. I've also used the Sony Alpha A7C. I say Alpha twice right there. It's also a really good camera. It has a really good sensor on it for making sure that you're auto locked on your face. Now, I will say, like the new Canon camera, as I've moved around here, it does a really good job of adjusting for that. But so I have that, and all I need is a USB-C cable to plug it in, use it. What I'm recording on and going live with right now is OBS. It is a streaming software. You won't necessarily get the highest quality out here, quality of content, because it, again, like I said, it's meant for streaming. You're really limited by the cable that you use. I could use a better cable. I'm literally only using a cable from Apple. I probably need to get a better one that will have a better data output. If you guys know a better cable, let me know in the comments. And then OBS. Streaming software. I use it to stream. I'm streaming on it right now. You can stream to YouTube with it. You can technically stream to like TikTok. You can like add stream keys in and other platforms like that. But most platforms besides TikTok, and TikTok's been super weird ever since the ban. I can go into it for a bunch of different reasons. But it's like the only platform you really want to go live on beyond YouTube because of how it promotes it on the For You page versus like Instagram, you just get promoted on your stories. Now that can be beneficial for other reasons, not a topic of this video. The really amazing thing about this software though is if you want to batch create content on your laptop, it's a really good way because you can specify where you want the videos to be recorded to. So they're not being recorded on the camera here onto an SD card. They're actually being recorded onto my hard drive on my laptop over here. And what this really does is I can say, hey, record in my Google Drive that I have synced onto my laptop. And if you have a team, again, if you're at like 20, 30, 40, 50K, have a video editor, even if it's cheap, $5, a video or whatever, just to do minor cuts. It's going to make a huge difference, huge time saver. If you don't believe me, just read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Awesome video. Huge thing there is just like what tasks, what $5, $10, $20 an hour tasks are you doing that you can replace with $50, $200, $150, $200 tasks instead. And the huge thing with that is I don't have to take the SD card out. I don't have to fiddle with it. I don't have to like look at different videos. And with multiple screens up, I can literally be recording on OBS, hit record, hit stop. I can have another window up with Finder, your File Explorer if you're on Windows, and I can name the video, and it's already in a folder that I selected that my editor has access to on Google Drive. So super awesome way where you can batch a ton of content. And this is on the production side of things. If you're not doing that, another really great way to do it, if you're using the good old quality iPhone here, is to record all of your content and then add it to an iCloud shared folder with your editor. That way they upload quickly and easily. They have access to the content and they can go through and edit and get feedback to you via Frame.io or a different software if you're going for edits. And this kind of brings us into post-production, right? Lighting, it's a whole issue. Like you can see, like I have a soft light right behind me. Soft lights are really good for like facials, or face headshots, whatever you want to call them. And then like there's a lot of lighting. Like I don't have the best lighting in my videos, oftentimes because I'm recording my content in the afternoons and the sun's behind my house, and I don't have the best light coming in here. And with my desk up to the windows, I don't have the best Like I have a little lamp right here, a little light, but it's generally too bright. I can't adjust it enough. So like lighting can also make a huge difference on just like how your content looks. Again, this isn't something though that generally speaking is going to make a huge difference on your performance. Everyone's seen like someone who has a, you know, $30,000 studio setup with perfect lighting, perfect video, and they get, you know, 500 views per video, right? Just because your content looks amazing doesn't mean it is without taste and won't get any views. Because again, they only care about watch time. If you are doing lighting, I really recommend having all of your lights be plugged into like an Amazon smart switch, where you can say Amazon turn on studio lights, Amazon turn off studio lights, and your lights come on, lights go off. Again, with all of this, whether you're setting up in your office or a studio, you want ease of use. The whole thing with OBS is I can come in and I can hit start recording, stop recording, super easy. And you just want to lower the barrier of entry to your recording. And again, when we're talking about spending only like an hour a week on content, is it realistic for everyone? No, but if you get these systems dialed in and you get really good at content and you have some help with content creation and editing, you can definitely like only spend an hour a week recording content like on the short form side and be generating hundreds of thousands of dollars of leads for your business every year, right? It's just having the proper systems in place in order where you can do the marketing really easily for yourself, right? And making all of these systems work together. I also want to point out, when I was talking about like the production side of it, the camera, the software, the storage, none of this, beyond the lights, what I said with the lights, setting up like an Amazon automation, none of it's really overly automated. I don't recommend complex automations because they break. If you decide you want to do something differently, your automations are trashed. And it doesn't make sense to spend 10, 15, 20 hours trying to figure out how to automate something when it's going to change, and then all that time was wasted. The other thing I want to hit on super quick in this specific video is, for example, like this light back here, it's a pain in the butt to move around. If you have to move your lights around, if you have to set up your studio, if you have to turn on each light individually, if you have to set up your camera, find an SD card that isn't, you know, maxed out with storage every single time you record, and then you have to wait to upload video, so on and so forth. Again, it's really going to wear on your ability to create content, do it effectively, and you end up spending a lot more time on those minor things like getting a production scene set up versus actually recording content. Post-production, really good softwares, like I mentioned earlier, is Frame.io. If you have editors, if you're doing it yourself, you probably just need something like CapCut. If you already know software like Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, whatever else is out there, I recommend sticking with that one. CapCut happens to be one of the best ones right now. And you know, there's an exception to the rule, but it's just one of the best ones right now, where they have tons of templates where you can edit tons of content relatively easily. They have great AI tools. They have great tools that will fix your audio. They have pretty good tools for color grading. Again, it's not DaVinci Resolve, it's CapCut, but they're not bad. And it's really geared towards short form content. If you're more of a YouTuber, it might make more sense for a platform like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, but those aren't necessary, right? We're not creating feature films here. We're creating content to grow our businesses. We don't need it to be color graded like Dune. We just need it to have solid audio and not look unprofessional, right? Beyond that, like when we're talking about post-production, Frame is really good to have the content stored to provide feedback on edits you want done if you have video editors. And again, making sure those processes that are easy, like having the files already uploaded to an iCloud folder or Google Drive folder or Dropbox, whatever it might be, so they have easy access. It's just going to speed up the process immensely. There's more complex systems out there. If you're dealing with really long podcasts, you can set up, I do believe they're called like a DAWs. Essentially, they're like a little cloud storage device in your home. You can Google them up. They're extremely I won't say extremely. They're more complex. However, you get faster upload speeds. You get higher quality video. you have like less loss as far as the files are concerned. And it makes a lot of sense if you're doing like a long form podcast or something like that. You have editors overseas or wherever, because you're literally going to plug a fiber optic cable into that, and it is going to upload extremely quickly. They have like essentially like immediate access to it on their end when you do stuff like that. And there's some like really good systems. I don't recommend making one from the ground up. I recommend they have like essentially pre-built systems out there that you can buy and download. But that's like, and I only recommend doing this if you're already generating like probably 6 figures plus per month in revenue, and you're doing really long content. If it's just short form content, it's nothing that's that deep. If you're dealing with like hours of content, like vlogs, again, long form podcasts, stuff like that, it can make more sense. And especially if you're experiencing that issue where upload times are just killing you. Again, this is why I recommend having a drive. And then we're talking about editors. Another way to like really work around this, like if you're located in the US, is get editors either like located in European time zones, like London Standard Time, or, Philippines is really hot right now for just tons of VAs in general, but it can also be a good spot for video editors as well. The whole idea behind that is you upload the video, they wake up, they get access to it, they edit it, make the edits on it. When you get back up, video's done, ready to post, right? So you can kind of arbitrage time in that sense if you're smart in terms of building your team and can find the right talent that is going to meet your needs for your business. As far as like post-production goes, you want to have final review. Again, coming back to ClickUp, you want to have different stages for each of these parts of the process. And you want to have review stages where you can put the last 10%, the icing on the cake, make sure it meets your standard before it goes out the door. Can't explain how vital this is to you. If you don't, it's just gonna bite you in the butt. You're gonna have content go out that doesn't represent you, doesn't represent your brand, doesn't necessarily make sense, and it's just like a matter of time thing, unless you're extremely dialed in with your team. In which case, you've probably already done this enough where they know and understand what you expect. The other thing that I wanted to hit on is repurposing content / posting content. For short form content, repurpose.io is great if you're posting content. The exception, and again, going back, the exception to the rule of using a video editor, because like a lot of people edit in-app on their phones or use like the new Instagram app Stitch, right? If you're doing that, and like let's say you have 200,000 followers on Instagram but nothing anywhere else, I would always recommend using the in-app platforms, just doubling down on your current platform, and then using a platform like Repurpose. I say .io, I think it's repurpose.com. I think they actually bought the .com domain. But using Repurpose to take your content, it'll download it without any watermarks. It creates an automation to download it and then publish it on a different platform like TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, wherever. The reason why I recommend this, if you have like one highly concentrated platform, is because you can still get good views on it, and you really want to leverage that platform to get the most out of it that you can, and you don't want to interfere with those views. Or if you have a current process with editing, you want to have access to those same tools. That being said, if you're editing on one of the other softwares I recommended, I would probably suggest using Metricool to repurpose your content across multiple platforms if you don't have a social media manager that will post manually. Manually is going to be the best on all the platforms. You have that last second where you have to make sure everything's perfect. The platforms tend to prefer it because it's in-app, not via an API, aka spam or automated spam, right? That's what they're all afraid of. It's having their platforms be destroyed by totally meaningless content. So having a social media manager or yourself that can post in person, it can give you an edge. But we're not talking about a total difference. We have videos that we've scheduled out that have gone viral, and we've had videos that we've posted manually that have gone viral, and we've had both videos also flop. So it just gives you an edge. Again, most important thing is good hook, good watch time on your videos. If you get that, your content is going to perform well no matter what. So that takes us through post-production and repurposing. those are like the main tools that I would be using if I was creating content. And if you have these systems dialed in, like realistically, you can do all the content like, and it depends how many times you want to post per day. If you want to post just once per day, you can definitely do all of the pre-production, production, post-production, and repurposing by yourself and get it done if you have the systems dialed in about an hour a week. If you want to post 3 times a day and you're doing it all of yourself, I would just multiply that by 3. The other thing is sometimes when it comes to content, when it comes to growing your business and getting those qualified leads through the door, it just comes to volume, right? Certain platforms, people say, oh, you can't post more. The thing is if you post more, your quality usually goes down. So as long as you can maintain quality, you want to post more volume. Oftentimes, like I was talking to my wife about this today, like if you have a flat tire, it doesn't matter if Discount Tire or Les Schwab does it a little bit better than the other one if they have better service. It only matters who picks up the phone first. And you picking up the phone first is posting content and getting in front of your ideal prospect when they need you the most first. Because if you ain't first, you're last, right? Get some good Talladega Nights references in here. But yeah, make sure you're posting consistently. Hopefully these systems help. If you got any value from this video whatsoever, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference, like I said earlier, with helping me reach entrepreneurs just like yourself. And as always, if you want to do this with us here at Laney Media, feel free to hit that button down below and talk with our team and see if we're a good fit to help you. We primarily help coaches, consultants, and agency owners. If you're outside of that fit, feel free to book in and just see if we're able to help you or not. And as always, have a good day.